Hi there, people. We're finally ready to start selling these things, so just want to do a little unboxing and show you what you would get and how you put it together, and the parts that you'll have to buy yourself to put the kit together and get it up and running for yourself. So here we go. In this box is the basic forge pan with the legs. If it comes with the hood, it's going to be a bigger box, and shipping will be more. Take it out. You're going to find a few things. You're going to find the basic tray. You'll see our logo at the end, which is the logo that I've used in my metal stamps over the years when I stamp wrought iron work. You're going to find the top part of the legs, 2 of them. You're going to find 1 small pack of nuts and bolts, likely be packaged a little finer than this. And what you'll have in there should be 4 1 by half inch, or yeah, half inch bolts, 1 inch long, 4 of them. You'll have 4 3/8 bolts, 3/4 of an inch long, and you'll have 4 nuts. No washers included in this kit, nor are they needed. You'll find another package of the lower legs. You'll have 4 of these. You'll notice that the pin is a little bit bent, and that's just to keep it nice and tight, and so it doesn't wobble too much. My recommendation to you, if you are a welder, is to weld the legs permanently. The reason they come in 2 pieces is so that we can ship them in a smaller box and save you a few dollars. Okay, what the 1/2 inch bolts are for is to hold the legs to the bottom of the tray. What these 3/8 bolts are for is to hold the hood to the tray, top of the tray. If you don't order the hood, you won't get this 3/8 bolts. I'm going to show you the hood. Here's our optional hood. If you're going to burn coal, it's recommended. If you're only burning charcoal, you don't really need it, but it does look good on there, and it would work. But it's better for coal. So that will fit on here. So here's what we've got for a hood. On the back is our logo. So the logo's on the back, and it lines up with this circle. You just set it inside and put your 3/8 bolts in. Put the bolts going out, so the nuts are on the outside. Just get them in. Get them all in loosely before you tighten them up. Make sure they're all in first so that you can get them in. There may be a little bit of adjustment. I'm going to test fit every one before I send it out, but you know, things happen in shipping. So get all 4 in there, and then tighten them up with 9/16 wrenches. My fingers are like vice grips, so I don't really need wrenches. Then, to put the legs on, flip it over, and it's just as simple as that. Just put the bolt through the hole and tighten them up. Again, don't put them real tight till you get them both in. Makes it easier. And also, it may require a little bit of adjustment. But you'll get them in there. You'll notice the finish is just your basic flat black paint. Paint doesn't seem to last very long on forges because of the nasty nature of coal and its byproducts. If you feel like finishing it better before you use it the first time, go ahead. The paint that's on there should act as a pretty good primer. Or sandblast it, get it powder coated if you like. That would look real nice. I'd love to see you guys customize these. And if they were customized, very likely we'll start to put those photos on my website of the customized versions of these. And you're going to need a 3/4 wrench to snug these up. Remember when you're tightening up these bolts to be very careful. Try not to use a wrench, which is what I just did, and I almost cut my finger on a little bit of a hard bit of metal there. Just wear some gloves. Try to use a socket and a ratchet to tighten them up, just to make sure you don't cut yourself. So we get that snugged up. This is the stuff you have to buy off the shelf. I've really got it narrowed down to just the most basic kit. Cheapest bathroom fan I could get was $16 and 55 CFMs. And they're pretty cheap, but they actually last quite a while because they're a brushless motor. The weather's not so great for them, so when you're done forging, clean out your forge and put it away. And make sure every bit of fire is put out. And then buy yourself a 3-inch duck elbow. I paid $3.29. You can get them even cheaper than that. I've seen them as low as $2. You're going to want to put some sort of screw in there to keep that from coming out, because they will slip out. Then you're going to want to get a 2-inch elbow. This elbow has male on one side, female on the other. What you do, this side of it goes in here. Line it up, don't shove it in too far. And then get yourself a couple pipe clamps, or just if you can get the right size pipe clamp, put that on there, tighten that up. Go from here to a T and have this a T going down, and then a pipe plug so that you can have a sort of a clean out, and everything will fall straight down in the bottom of that and not get down in the fan. I just don't have them parts here. And the thing about it is, this would add even more cost to the shipping, which isn't really that cheap. It's not much, but it's going to average about 50 bucks. Some places in the eastern United States is about 40. With the hood it's a little extra, but out to California, out that way, west coast United States, is going to cost you with the hood $55. So if I was to include all this stuff, it would definitely add even more cost to you. And I'd probably mark the parts up anyway, so that would be kind of lose-lose for you. This is all stuff you can get at any hardware store. Every hardware store in America and Canada sells this stuff. Sometimes it's a little hard to find 2-inch pipe fittings. Most big box stores will carry it, but you may end up having to go to a plumbing place and buy one. And they're still really not that expensive. I think this one was like $3.50, $4. And then you're going to need a 2-inch pipe cap, and it's only like $3. Okay, get that on there and then snug that up just like that, making sure that this is all parallel with the fan. I don't think mine is. I gotta loosen it up a little. Yeah, just twist it a little and then tighten her up. Okay. Then you're going to take a 2-inch pipe cap, and depending on what you're going to burn will dictate how you want to set this up. At first I only had 1/2 inch hole, and it worked pretty good. It was very efficient, and it was good for burning like 1/4" bars and 3/8 round bars and such. Here's another cap that I was using. Worked really well. Spread the heat out a little more, and it had small holes, 7/16 holes, but 5 of them. And I found it was a powerful jet and for doing much bigger things. But if I wanted to block them off, I just put some 3/8 bolts in. So I can set them up to just one orifice, or I can set up a line so I get a longer heat. And what I learned was if I carefully drill closer to the edge, it directs it even further out, so it creates an even longer line of heat. But this is what I've been using. I think if I did this again, I would divide them equally. I wouldn't have one jetting so far forward. It was causing the smoke not to go up the chimney as well. So, but it still did work. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so what you do now, get your feet on. It's pretty simple, just tilt it back, shove the feet in. They may be a little loose and fall out. Just put it in there and just set it on that foot. Get the other one in there. And you may have to spin them so they angle outward a little bit. Stand it up. Lean it forward a little bit. Be careful at this point, it's a little bit likely to tip over. Put that one on. Then grab this one and the base of this and just hold the two together. Lift it up. Wiggle that one on too. There you go. It's pretty solid. There's a little bit of play in there. You can always drill and put a screw through, or you can put a bit of weld on this to make it more solid for yourself. So if you want it with only 3 legs, there's a hole up there in the middle, and you'll have to scheme something up yourself if you feel like doing it that way. So then you're just going to take your fan and pipe assembly, and you're just going to shove that up in there and screw that cap on top. Don't put it on tight. Just run it till it's tight, just barely hand tight so it just starts to grab, and then back it off just a tiny bit. So gravity's going to keep it there, but if you feel like making it a little more secure and permanent, there's a few 3/8 holes here so you can scheme up something to bolt things to if you need to. We don't supply any brackets because I don't know how you plan on setting it up. Depends on what you're going to burn, depends on the type of things you like to make, and you know, I can't make it that universal. It's going to have to be somewhat custom finished to work with whatever you're into. You know, everybody's into something different. Okay, so now we're ready to fire this thing up. What I do is I plug it in first. This is my method. Everybody's going to come up with their own methods, but this is mine. Plug in the fan. Then I pour my coal, a bit of Coke in there. It'll start green too, but and the reason I run the fan is so that anything I pour in there is not going to fall in them holes right away. Put a good bit in, a couple gallons maybe. Spread it out a bit. Find your openings. I almost forgot the chimney. So my suggestion to you is 3 feet of this 6-inch chimney pipe, or well, sorry, it's stove pipe. And you're going to squeeze it into an oval like this, about 5 by 7. And just put that in there. Try to keep the seam off to one side, not here. It'll fit better that way. So just push it down. You might have to wiggle it a bit. Now you're going to make yourself your little jellyfish and light that. Some kind of newspaper. Newspaper works really well. If you have a bunch of jets in there and you notice your fire is burning a little too aggressive, which mine is, just take your stainless bolt and just find that hole and put your bolt in. So I just cut my volume in half. There you go, Frazzle Mini Forge.